Welcome to the Fit Dad Nation podcast, forging strong fathers and raising a stronger generation. It's time to get up or shut up with your host, Steve Roy.
Hey guys, this is Steve Roy, host of the Fit Dad Nation podcast. Welcome to the show. Thank you for listening. Before we jump into the episode today, if you're a dad listening to this show and you're not happy with some aspect of your life as far as your physical health, your emotional health, your mental health, what you're doing right now isn't working and you need to make a change. And there's a lot of ways to do that, but one of the ways that I've seen a lot of success with is just being part of a group of like-minded guys or like-minded people that are doing the same things, working on the same things that you're struggling with, and that can be an incredible help. And so we have a community. It's called the Fit Dad Base Camp. It's a free online Facebook group, and you can apply to that. We've got about 800 guys in there right now at fitdadnation.com/community. So there's something that bothers me on an ongoing basis, and that's actually, and even in the last couple months, has kind of caused me to pull back from social media. And I've talked about this at length. It's the fact that there's so much bullshit and there's so many scams and people trying to take advantage of people struggling with their health and fitness. You know, this is obviously not news to anybody. This is a massive, massive market. Everywhere you turn, someone's trying to sell you something fitness-related, health-related, diet-related, because it's an easy market to make money in, because of people's insecurities, their fears, their self-consciousness. So many reasons. And today I just want to talk about some reasons that a lot of us fall for these things, because if you can recognize it, and you may be saying, no, that's never me. That'll never be me. I'm too smart for that or whatever. But a lot of people do fall for this stuff. I mean, millions of people fall for this stuff every year. And so I'm not trying to judge you here. I'm just saying marketers, their whole job is to separate you from your money, and they're going to tell you whatever they can to make you absolutely believe that their product is the one to help you. And in this business anyway, most of that stuff, vast majority is absolute bullshit, garbage, worthless. Some of it is even more harmful than it is helpful. So, part of my job is kind of steering you away from that stuff and hopefully just steering you on the right path, because it's just a very personal thing for me. I just truly, truly despise these scumbags online that are just trying to make money and have zero interest in actually helping people. So today I'm going to talk about kind of some of the reasons that I've seen over the years of why we're falling for this stuff. And I think the first one is we want desperately to believe that product, that isogenic shake mix, or that new diet that's on Dr. Oz, we really want to believe with all of our hearts that that's the thing, that's the one that's going to help us, right? And that's the hope, right? They put hope in our minds. You know what? Look at all those amazing transformations. I mean, it's only $100. Why can't I do that? I've tried all this other stuff, but these shakes. I mean, I think that might be the answer. I think this is what I have to do, right? And that's their job, right, is to trick you into thinking that this is the absolute only way to go for you. And once you get it, and whatever it is, and there's a million of them, right? I'll just use isogenic shakes, for example. I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm just saying people will say, this is my key. This is the key to weight loss, sustained weight loss, right? And when they realize that it doesn't work the way they think it's going to work, the fat doesn't just fall off, and they feel amazing by just drinking a shake or two a day. It's just not going to work like that. Then they're just discouraged and shit, I thought this was the one. And then, maybe you quit doing what you were doing and you just say, fuck it, maybe nothing's going to work for me. And then 6 months later, you see another advertisement for something that looks amazing and you do the same thing over and over. And, I've had clients over the years that have done a dozen of these things over the years and spent a massive amount of money chasing down new programs. I've had people go into even hospitals to see doctors, basically putting them on 1,000-calorie diets and charging them, upwards of $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month just to basically starve them. It's insane, but we want to believe so badly that this is the one that we buy it. So you really have to understand that there's absolutely not one solution for everybody. It's just not going to happen. So you have to really get that out of your head that no matter how awesome it sounds, a lot of times the more great it sounds, the bigger piece of shit it is. Also say that a big thing, and this is a social issue, is it's just conformity, right? Many of us just tend to believe what others believe. So if people are talking about a certain product, a certain program, a certain diet, and it's hot, especially on social, we start to believe it. There's a lot of myths that have been disproven over the years. The one that comes to mind is like the starvation response. 10 years ago, everybody was talking about the starvation response, experts, everybody, of how our bodies basically, when we undereat, it just basically slows down our metabolism, slow down to a crawl, and we start storing energy, storing fat because we're not eating enough. And that was a huge thing. So it was going around the internet. It was going around in books, widely publicized books, even really people that I trust in the fitness space were talking about it. And it was just misinformation. And, we've come to learn that's not the case. But, it's just like with anything else. A lot of us are basically in the sheep mentality, and we'll just flock to whatever is hot, whatever people are talking about, whatever people start believing and spouting off as true or science. You see an Instagram influencer and they're talking about whatever, and it gets shared 1 million times and it's got, 750,000 likes. Shit, this must be true. This has to be it. And then it just gets passed around and reposted. And before long, people are starting to think that it's actually true. And it's not the case. So I would say, and this is something that I have conversations with my clients, is when you read something online, especially from these influencer type people, your first step is use your head. Like, seriously, use your head. Does this make sense? Right? Does putting half a stick of butter in your morning coffee make sense to you? If you're trying to lose weight, how will this help you? Other than adding, 300 calories to your overall total, how is butter in your coffee going to make you healthier, fitter, slimmer, right? Just because people are talking about it, the guy's got a bulletproof coffee book. He's making millions of dollars. He's on all these shows. People are talking about it everywhere, how they've lost all this weight drinking butter coffee. It makes no fucking sense. Zero, right? That's what I'm talking about. And there's a million cases of these things. They're everywhere, right? I've had experiences with people using Weight Watchers, and I'll say, okay, well, how many points do you have to eat? Because it's a point system, and they'll say, well, I have 30 points. Okay, all right. So the idea behind it is, to eat. First of all, 30 points represents a much smaller number than you actually need to eat. So, you're essentially just on a low calorie diet, which is why you're losing weight, not because you're counting points. But, they're like, well, yeah, they want me to eat healthy, but I have 30 points and this chocolate glazed donut is 8 points. So I can have that, right? And then, I'm going to have 2 tacos for lunch, and that's another 16 points, and I have 6 points left. So, I just had, like 6 bites of ice cream, and that's my 30 points. And so I'm going to lose weight. And in theory, they probably will lose weight if they're just under eating. But the problem is, obviously, number one, it's not healthy to eat like that. Number two, there's no way they're going to sustain results, and they're not going to be losing body fat. They're going to drop a bunch of weight, and they're probably going to shed a bunch of muscle tissue. And it just doesn't make sense. That's the thing. I've had many conversations where I'm like, you're eating an absolutely shitty diet, but you're eating your points. Do you think this is how it's intended to work? This doesn't make any sense, does it? Well, Weight Watchers is a huge company. They're making money. They're helping people. They're doing, big things. So obviously this works. And so I said, okay, think about it, right? Like, use your head. Does this make sense to be eating 30 calories worth of chicken nuggets, French fries, and sweet tea? Of course not. It makes no sense. But that's what I'm talking about. So please, guys, please, with anything that you read, even my stuff, think about it. Think about it. Does this make sense? Right? And along those lines, we're following the wrong people. We're listening to the wrong people. We're listening to celebrities, athletes that don't know what the fuck they're talking about, Dr. Oz, those types of people that still don't know what the fuck they're talking about. There's a reason that 60+% of this country is overweight or obese, right? We listen to the wrong people, right? There are plenty of right people out there, but there's far more people that don't have any clue what they're doing other than just trying to make money. So you really have to watch who you're listening to. And when you find someone that actually does know what they're talking about and actually cares about helping people, then, that's somebody that you need to, continue following and listening to and kind of weed out, all the other crap. And, one of my really biggest struggles in this business is the fact that I know, because I'm just one guy, I really can't make a difference in this business. It's too big, and I'm outgunned 1,000,000 to 1 when it comes to trying to do the right thing. That's obviously not going to stop me, but I struggle with it on a personal level because I see so many people getting taken advantage of, and these people that have no qualifications, no real-world experience helping people live healthier. Their only qualification is being fit, and when I was 22, 23, 24, I could eat anything I wanted as long as I trained my ass off, and I did. I was in great shape. That doesn't mean I'm a good coach. That doesn't mean I'm qualified to sell you something or teach you something or coach you something, but that's what it is, right? These guys, girls, also, of course, lots of that, flash their ass, hard bodies, and millions of women that struggle with their weights and self-confidence. They're like, oh my God, I want to look like that, right? And just that's the sale right there. Same with dudes, right? We see these guys that are in phenomenal shape and like, well, I used to look like that, or I think I could look like that. And the problem is, you end up ordering a product or a program or something, and you get it, and you're like, well, this doesn't make any sense. Definitely doesn't make any sense for me, my lifestyle. I have kids, I have a career. I'm busy as shit. I'm a coach. I don't have time to do all this stuff, or I don't have, the energy to train for 2 hours a day, or there's no way I can do sets of 15 pull-ups, in my exercise. It doesn't make sense, right? And I see this day in and day out, and I'm just saying, and I don't even consider myself an influencer. I hate the word, but I'm just saying, please do your homework before you start spending your money on this shit people are just peddling. And Instagram is the worst for sure. It's loaded because it's obviously a visual platform. You're scrolling through, you see this dude that's ripped or jacked or strong as hell, and you're like, damn, I need to do that. And then a couple seconds later, you're like, boom, I'm going to buy that program. Okay. Please just do your homework. Okay. I want to talk about testimonials. It's an easy way to make sales, easy way to get people's attention by using misleading or just seriously flat out fake testimonials. There's a lot of instances of people gaming that system, cheating, using just completely fake pictures in order to make sales. And you know why? It works. It's an easy sale. Nobody is going to look the information up and say, is this legitimate? How did this happen? Tell me the process this person did it. No, they're going to see a picture of a before and after, and it'll say 60 days. He went from 28% body fat, and now he's at 12%. Look at him. He's phenomenally strong. And you're like, wow, well, I guess it is possible. I think I'll try it, right? And again, it comes back to using your head and just realize that a lot of the stuff, not all, but a lot of the stuff is just absolute, it's fake. And there's no way that people can really crack down on this. It's very hard to prove that it's false, and no one's actually looking into the stuff saying, okay, show me how they got there. The government's certainly not going to help us in this regard. So it's a marketer's dream. I've actually seen people promote before and afters on their own sales page that 100% were not even their clients. They came from a completely different program that had nothing to do with them. They just stole the pictures. I've seen that. It happens a lot. and it's disgusting, but just have to be mindful of that. And I wouldn't look too much into huge transformations, right? I've made a number of transformations in my own life, in my own body, and none of them were so earth-shattering where we're like, oh my God, I absolutely have to have that, right? You make great progress, but the before and afters we see that sell are ridiculous, right? And again, some are legit, but most are not. I also want to say that many of us get caught up in listening to our friends and family, our peers, right? I don't know how many people I've heard talking, over a meal at a family reunion or whatever, talking about, Eric, he just got into really good shape. He just lost 55 pounds. And he said he eats 4 grapefruits in the morning and puts MCT oil in his coffee. That's the solution right there, right? If we do what he does, we're gonna have those results, right? Or look what shape he's in. He must know what he's talking about. Let's ask him what he does. Let's ask him what he eats, and then we'll eat that. Let's ask him how he trains. Then we'll train that way, right? You've heard it before, no doubt. No doubt. Oh man, my Karen, keto. Look at her body now. Before she was really kind of soft and squishy and flabby and sporting those mom jeans and, was very average looking. And now look at her. She did keto for only 3 months and look at her. She looks phenomenal. We're doing keto. That's the way, right? Stop listening to your friends and family. They don't know what they're talking about. They only have personal experiences, and that's fine. But you have to do your homework and you have to realize and ask yourself, does this make sense for me? Will this work for me? You don't know, but you have to look for it. Does this make sense in my life? Should I try this? Should I get more information? There's the big one, right? Yes. Okay, don't just jump on the bandwagon because so-and-so said keto works or whatever. Okay, it's just not that simple. Okay, and I will tell you that getting fit, staying there, is a very personal thing, right? Our environments, social circles, the jobs we have, how much free time we have, our finances, our personal taste with food, right? Our emotional health, our ability to sustain willpower or discipline, they all play a huge role in your success or failure. It's not as simple as going to the bookstore, buying a book, reading it, implementing it, and being done with it. That's right. It's not as easy as going to the store one time, to the Whole Food store, loading your cart, worth of $600 worth of organic grass-fed groceries, coming home and then saying, okay, I did it. Okay, that's not what it's about. Right? It's honestly just about following a handful of basics over and over until they're a true part of your day-to-day life. Okay? And I've said this before, getting fit and staying there is not sexy. My life is not fascinating by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not doing burpees off of the side of a building or side of a cliff. I'm just doing the very basic stuff every day. I'm showing up, and this is what I'll tell you. This is what you need to focus on. And really, everything else is fluff. Number one, strength training, man or woman, doesn't matter what your goal is. Your goal should always, number one, to be stronger and to improve, increase lean body mass. That's done through consistent and progressive strength training, 3 to 4 days a week, nothing crazy, but you have to continually push yourself a little bit and get stronger. Okay? Number two, movement, mobility. Get on the ground and stretch, move as much as you can, sit as little as you can. Get out there and walk. Highly underrated exercise for overall health, well-being, mental health. And you'll burn some extra calories. Just get out there and walk. Think, right? Get more sleep. Get better quality sleep. I've talked about this before. I've actually did a whole show on this. Focus on your sleeping habits, your patterns, how to get into a good place before bed. Manage your stress. Okay, stress will keep you fat and it will kill you. Drink a lot of water. I would literally replace 99% of your drinks, other than, a few things, coffee, tea, with water. Get plenty of sunshine and fresh air, and then get some form of cardiovascular exercise for heart health, right? You want to be able to obviously live a long time. Those things I just told you, and there's maybe 8 of those things I just said, nothing too exciting, nothing that you haven't heard a million times before. Problem is, those things, either individually or together, do not sell programs, products, gizmos, nothing, because they're fucking boring. There's nothing to it except just putting in some work, some pretty mundane things. Okay, yes, you can spice them up a little bit, but it's very hard to sell just those few basics, right? And that's why people don't sell it. They are selling other things that sound so much more interesting and fun and more beneficial and faster results and all these things. But again, most of the stuff is just absolutely worthless fucking garbage and wasting your time and money. Okay, so please, guys, stop looking for shortcuts. Stop looking for hacks. Stop perusing Instagram, looking for that one program that's going to change your life. Okay, it's not there. You don't need supplements. You don't need shake weights. You don't need greens powders. You don't need fit teas, detoxes. You don't need any of that stuff to get extremely fit and healthy and stay there. You really don't. You need those basics, and that's exactly what I teach. If you need help with any of this stuff, you can always reach out to me on social at The Fit Dad Nation. I'm happy to help you anytime. Hit me up on email, steve@fitdadnation.com. Stay well. I'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, if you want more information, check out the Fit Dad Basecamp group on Facebook. And don't forget to stop by fitdadnation.com. Until next time, keep kicking ass and taking the next step. You can do this, Dad.